Well, Trent, I guess the good news on Tuesday was that Boyd Cordner was named. Is he a certainty to play this week?
Yeah, we had our biggest session yesterday, so he'll walk in today and tell me whether he's right to go or not. But all indications are that he's trained well for a few weeks now. He's trained physically. He's ready to go.
Given what he's been through, that must be really pleasing to the club and everyone involved.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, having your captain back, having a leader like Boyd back in your team is very important. But then also, even just for him personally to get back in on the field, it's been 6 weeks now, I think. So it's good to get footy players back out on the field.
Were you worried at all? I know the last few weeks you said you weren't really concerned, but I guess from the outside there's always that concern when there's head knocks that players might not come back the same as with Luke last year.
No, I wasn't concerned because of the time that we took. That we're quite conservative in the time that we took, and that I guess you had the experience of Luke last year, so you know what time to give them and to get the best results. So very confident in the process.
How hard was it to keep him settled and keep him patient in his recovery? Because I'm sure a competitor like Boyd would have been dying.
Yeah, well, I think Pam, it's really important that, it's a great lesson because you've got one of the most competitive guys in our sport out for 6 weeks because it's the right thing to do. And it wasn't us keeping him out, it was a joint decision about how we were going to look after it. So as competitive as you are and as brutal as you are in the way that you play, you also have to look after yourself and you have to look after your health for right now and for the future. So it was very much a joint decision. So we've made it along the way together with the medical staff, coaches and player.
Robbo, a couple of weeks ago we saw at Manly, even with Marty Tapau, the impact of that was quite severe. He actually praised the Roosters for your stance and how long you've taken, how seriously you've taken it. But Marty talking about not remembering things, and that was from one hit. I know there was a series with Boyd, but do you feel like the Roosters have sort of set a bit of a precedent on how important concussion is? We've seen other sports players are out for a lot longer.
Yeah, it's hard to know, Matt. All you do is you work on there's a couple of things. You get specialist advice, and that is very good, but also still a work in progress as far as being definitive about what you should do. You work with your medical doctor and you know the player. You look in their eye and you know by the way that they talk, move, the way that they sleep, all of those things you take into consideration. So it's not a simple choice, but if you take in all the information and also let go the need to have that player out on the field and make an objective decision, that's important.
Mate, obviously Daniel Tupou back as well. That's a huge boost on the flanks there.
Yeah, Tup's obviously with the syndesmosis, he's been again back on ground, training well. He's been one of the leaders out on that field on the left edge for so many years, and it's good to get him back on the field and getting him moving again.
Mate, I just wanted to ask about the coaches at the moment. It's such a hot topic, and so many coaches have been sacked in the last couple of years. But with the Coaches Association, there was talk yesterday that they need more funding to keep going. How important is that, and how important is it that coaches get support? Because I guess it was sort of said that you just got to be able to handle it, but obviously there's a lot that goes into it, as you know.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. It's a difficult time, I think, financially for everybody in the game. To create something new that we've been working on for a couple of years and put our hand out is difficult. The game's got, players are on 50% at the moment, so it's hard for us to say that we deserve that funding. But we also see the role that coaches play in the whole of game, and we're only looking for a small amount of funding to make sure that we can continue to develop coaches, to continue to develop the support network for coaches leading into the job and also on the way out of a job as well. So you know, we don't want to be greedy on that, but we really think it's a valued, you know, organisation to get started and also have some longevity for the future.
Are you surprised with how many coaches have actually lost their job this year? Is it a bit of a perfect storm with everything that's kind of happening with the game and then happening in the world as well? What's your take on it?
Well, I think there's a couple of things there. I think, Neil Henry came out and spoke about the amount of coaches that have lost their job, and in the bit of time, I think there's a couple of things there. The needs of the job, I think, in the last decade have grown rather than just attack and defence. There's a lot more scrutiny. And as we said, with the Coaches Association, there's very little education other than playing rugby league that goes into coaching our sport. So how do we develop that? As I said, I think the clubs need to take responsibility. They don't know how to develop coaches for the most part. All they do is hire a coach, and if they don't do well, they get rid of them quite quickly. So the development within the club of coaches needs to improve. So I think the responsibility needs to lie not just on the coach, but the people that select the coach and put them into a position about the development of that. And that's not the case at the moment. So I know the coaches are going, but the clubs need to take responsibilities for that.
So Trent, do you think there needs to be more protection of coaches in the game?
No, I don't think there needs to be more protection. I think there needs to be more development of coaches. We understand the role. We understand it's a results-driven role. But as I said, the coaching role's evolved. So let's do a bit more. You know, I'd be interested in the clubs that have sacked their coaches about, you know, when they felt like it turned, what was there, what did they implement there to support and improve the process for the coach and for the staff around that. I'd be interested in what their methods were in that.
You spoke about the scrutiny on coaches. It's no longer just attack and defence. I don't think we've ever seen as much scrutiny as Anthony Seibold caught, I guess, from a football perspective and away from that. Is it just too much scrutiny? Is there too much emphasis on the coach these days? As you said, it goes down to the club and players and everyone involved. Well,
the scrutiny off field was disgraceful. The scrutiny on field is normal. You know, they're the two parts to it. You know, our game's gone. You know, I think how long I've gone for almost 9 or 10 minutes, and no one's asked me about the game tomorrow. So no one's interested in how the game is and how we look at it. We love watching it, and it supports what we all do and why we're all on this interview right now. But we care more about the drama around it. That's the spot we're in 2020. So therefore, the scrutiny around it was disgraceful on Anthony. And the scrutiny on field is normal. We play sport. We've been playing it for 110 odd years. And we are results driven. So to understand that is key, but the stuff around that and the private life was unacceptable.
Okay, that being said, you take on the Broncos, Anthony Seibold is gone. Do you expect to see a response, given everything they've been through? They might be relieved now that all the off-field, issues are solved.
Yeah, Zach, I'm not going to turn myself inside out about their response. I know our response, what it'll be. You know, we've obviously analysed them and they've had a couple of changes there, and we also know our style of play. We felt like we played well for 60 minutes last week. We really want to go for 80 minutes this week. We really want to go after the game. We're looking forward to getting back on the SCG again and doing it the honour that it deserves as well.
You said after the Tigers match you wanted to see a more ruthless attitude, you wanted to see a tougher response when the Tigers came back into it. Can you see that at training? Have you seen that, or do you have to wait until the weekend to see it on game day?
No, you definitely see it through the way that they speak post-game, the way that they go about their training and trying to fix some of the things that we wanted to get done on field. So the response has been very good, but we need to go out there and prove it tomorrow night. We need to go out and nail the game that we want to play tomorrow.
The last couple of years, you've really timed this team to perfection to get on a big run towards the finals. how important is that this year particularly? But do you feel like you're kind of at the start of that now?
Yeah, Pam. Every year is different and treat it differently. I've said before, you don't want to walk the same path. That'd be a boring life. So we've created a different path for ourselves this year, and yeah, we're excited about the road ahead. And that for us, we sat down and discussed that around about 10 days ago. We started that road against the Tigers. There were some really good things. Thought energy was high. Thought some execution could have been improved in defence. And we get a good opportunity tomorrow night to go out and nail that again. Keep heading towards where we want to go.
Robbo, oh, sorry, you go there. Oh, sorry, Robbo, I was going to ask about how's Luke Keary going, and the second part to it is Drew Hutchinson. The way he performed last week coming in, it was impressive. I just wanted your thoughts on Drew and how he's seamlessly fitting in.
Yeah, Luke's going well. He's adding value off the field at the moment, and when it's time, he'll get back in there. Drew has been around the club for a couple of years now. He's a senior guy in our group without playing lots of games, but I think that's what you saw with him running out there on the weekend. We have a lot of faith in the way that he plays, his communication skills, and he's confident about the way that he goes about the game. So we want to encourage Drew. We love having him here. So when he gets his opportunity, like he did last year, leading into the finals, like he did last week, we expect a strong performance from him again.
And Trent, you just mentioned there you're on a different path this year and you're on a different road. At what stage does Sonny Bill Williams jump on the bus? Is he round 17 bus stop at the moment?
Not this week, Zach. Not this week. Not this week.
What about next week?
We'll see what would we have to talk about next week if I gave you the heads up this week. How about we leave the excitement, we focus on Brisbane, and then we'll see next week.
Okay, I'll leave it here if you give me the heads up before everyone else knows.
All right, okay.
Done.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Trent.
Bye.